What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns, resurrecting my Discuss series. Now, technically, I never officially killed it off. It's just been a while since I've done a Discuss video. So, I'm going to try and start bringing it back on a regular basis. And if you have an idea for a future Discuss episode that I haven't already done, so be sure and check the playlist just in case. You can leave it below in the comment section. You can tweet it my way, Facebook it to me. By the way, both those links are in the description section for my official Twitter and Facebook pages. And as always, you can email me your discussed topic, GeauxBurns@gmail.com. Normally, I post videos earlier in the day, like 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time. But I did technically, because over on the Vlogs channel, I posted a new vlog today, so you can check that out if you feel in the mood for a vlog. If you're into vlogs, well, you may want to go subscribe to my Vlogs channel. It's my newest channel. I like to leave the vlogs over there, though. So I've been debating about whether or not I wanted to do a video like this for the past few days. And that's when I had the idea to just put this in a Discuss video because it's worthy of discussion. And the reason why is because I, for the most part, don't really care for leakers or rumors. I never make videos about that because about 2 years ago, I used to. And then I was covering a certain leaker that put out false information. And when it came out to be bullshit, I felt a little burned. I felt like I was unintentionally part of that deception, even though I honestly believed the stuff was legit. Turned out I was wrong. So since that time, I do not intentionally make leak videos. And if I do, I think the best place to put them is right here in my Discuss video. So yes, we are going to be discussing the leaks that have come out regarding import-export. Now, most of the time, as I said, I don't really give two thoughts about any leaks, whether or not they're from so-called reputable sources, whether that person is right 9 times out of 10. I just don't cover it on the channel. Sometimes I'll discuss it whenever I'm like let's playing, like some racing or doing something else. It may just come up because it's just the topic of the week. And I'll discuss it that way. But for the most part, I do not focus it on a specific video. So, yeah, apparently there is somebody that allegedly works or used to work at Rockstar that has come out with a ton of information regarding import-export. By the way, you can check this out below in the description section as well. I linked it. I link everything, by the way. I'm crazy about linking shit. Because a lot of people don't do that, and you're like, well, you talked about this, yet you didn't link it, so we can go check it out ourselves. That's not how I roll. So there's a lot of information here. Now, if it would have been just one or two things, I would have dismissed this guy. But he answered a ton of questions. He has a lot of information, and you probably already know about most of this stuff courtesy of other content creators. Now, the reason why we're going to discuss it is because, A, I want to know if you believe this guy. Do you think he actually is an employee or, as of recently, perhaps even a former employee after throwing all this information out there of Rockstar? Why do you think he did it? If it is true, I'll explain what I think, my theory. It's a little crazy. And what do you think of all this information if it turns out to be legit? Or do you think it's a bunch of BS? So if you haven't done so already, be sure and go and read over the information in the forum. We're not going to go over everything. But let's talk about this. Okay, so there's supposed to be like 25 new vehicles. We know about a few of them from the screenshots that Rockstar released a few days ago, along with their import-export announcement video, including that sweet-looking like ramp buggy that you're going to be able to troll people with. You can just race up behind somebody or in front of somebody and just boom, send them flying into the air. It looks like a lot of fun, unless you're on the receiving end. But along with that, there's also going to be specialty vehicles, like what was mentioned in the Newswire. And one of the things that they mentioned, we'll get to in a second, is the fact that there's going to be several new vehicles, some new supercars, some new sports cars. There's going to be like standard versions of some of these vehicles. And then there's going to be like custom versions that you'll be able to take to Benny's to customize. And if that's true, I'm really happy about that because that's one thing I would like to see more of from Benny's. Like more non-lowrider vehicles in the game. Similar to the surprise January 2016 update that brought us the Sultan RS and, of course, the Banshee 900R. As of today, they're the only two vehicles that are non-lowriders that you can take into Benny's and customize them. So it would make sense for there to be like a standard version of these new vehicles, as well as the custom version, which allows you to customize the interiors and all that other cool stuff as well. Even though it does cost a lot of money, it's still kind of cool though. Now, along with that, there are these so-called special vehicles that are coming. And this is where it gets really, really interesting and even crazy. And to the point where you begin to doubt it. Now, along with the ramp buggy, which we know about, this thing is real, it actually exists, is several vehicles, including a version of the Phantom. I think it's going to be called the Phantom Scoop, if I remember correctly, according to the forum. And basically, it is a Phantom with a big giant scoop on it. And the premise is very similar to the ramp buggy, where you'll be able to race down the road in this Phantom big rig, and you're going to be able to plow people out of your way. Sounds like a lot of fun. Then there's some other vehicles of interest. Two amphibious vehicles. One is going to be like an amphibious version of a Blazer. And what I mean by that is that a vehicle that can go into water and out of water. So you're going to be able to take this Blazer into the water, and you're going to be able to go out of the water just as easily. Kind of crazy, huh? And then there's also going to be, according to this guy, this so-called Rockstar employee, a version of the Technical that's also amphibious. Now, the Technical came with the highest update. It's the truck with a big stupid gun on it, which is a lot of fun. So imagine that truck with the ability to go into the water. So you think you're going to escape the Technical by hopping into a boat or a jet ski and heading off to your yacht. But you're not even safe in the water from this thing. By the way, I would love more boats with guns on them, kind of like a PT boat. That would be a lot of fun. So those vehicles might be real. There's also apparently going to be a new version of the Voltic that's going to have a rocket boost on it, which will allow it to go even faster. And believe me, the Voltic could use all the help it can get, because that's like the slowest supercar in the game. In fact, I don't even know why it's a supercar, but that's a side issue. Most vehicles are miscategorized anyways. It's the way Rockstar is. But the big one that a lot of people are talking about is a new version of the Ruiner. Now, I think there's going to be a new standard version of the Ruiner, I believe, according to some of this stuff that I looked at, that I breezed over in the article linked below in the description section. But that's not the Ruiner we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Ruiner that everyone is really, really excited about. And if you're a fan of the Knight Rider series, if you're an 80s kid like me, you know all about the Hoff. You know all about KITT. Knight Industries 2000. A sweet black Trans Am that talked, had an AI in it, had all these cool abilities and features. And apparently, we're going to get a version of the Ruiner that's very similar to that. I mean, it's crazy what this thing is possibly going to have. I mean, it's insane. All right, so let's talk about this. For one thing, it might be between $5 to $7 million, which would make it the most expensive land vehicle in the game, and that's awfully pricey. But here's what's coming with this kit version of the Ruiner, allegedly. The ability to switch between home-in rockets and non-home-in rockets, similar to the helicopters, the laser, and of course the Hydra. It's going to have machine guns on it. It's going to have a jumping ability, just like KITT did in the Knight Rider series, and a parachute that you can open and glide. So you'll be able to leap off the Maze Bank Tower or Mount Chiliad or Mount Gordo, or be dropped from a helicopter, maybe the Cargo Bob, and you can open the parachute and you can just glide around the map, shooting down jets and helicopters and having a good old time with this KITT Ruiner. So this thing sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like it's going to be awesome, if it turns out to be legit. Some other things this guy mentioned, along with the what they're calling the Ruiner 2000, is that there's going to be new clothing items, which I love. I always like new clothing items. There's also going to be some new masks. It's been a while since we've had new masks, so I'm really glad to hear about new masks. I don't think he said anything about new weapons, so we're probably not going to get any new weapons, but we already have a ton of new weapons anyways. I mean, the Bikers update added a lot of weapons to the game. So that's not really a big issue to me. Another thing that they mentioned is the fact that we might even finally have the ability to customize our characters for $100,000. That's something a lot of people have been asking for, a plastic surgery option. I don't know if that's coming with this update, but he mentioned it in the forum that you would have the ability to customize your character, to go in, change their look, change anything about them, I guess, for like $100,000 a pop. And I'm glad that that feature is going to be added to the game. So if he turns out to be legit, obviously. But now the interesting thing about these special vehicles I just mentioned, the Ruiner 2000, the the Phantom Scoop, the amphibious Blazer, the amphibious Tentacle, the Rocket Voltic, and of course the Ramp Dune Buggy, is that these are not going to be typical Pegasus vehicles, according to one of the things that he posted. He says they will have their own garage in the bottom of the vehicle warehouse. So you buy the vehicle warehouse, that's where you store the vehicles that you steal, the ones that you intend on eventually selling for profit. Now your three-story garage that's going to be in the office, that's for your personal vehicles. The one you'll be able to apparently have up to 60 rides and have the interiors customized. That's different than the vehicle warehouse. Vehicle warehouse is for something completely different. But apparently there's going to be different levels of the vehicle warehouse, including, like, I guess, a basement of the vehicle warehouse. And that's where your special vehicles are going to be stored at. And there's also going to be a vehicles menu, so you're going to be able to quickly call up one of your vehicles. And you can actually, just like with your regular vehicles, if you want to drive out one of your rides out of the garage, you'll be able to do the same thing with the special vehicles. And it'll function very similar to a personal ride. So if you're like racing around with your Ruiner 2000, as he's calling it, and you go flying around with your friends for a few minutes, and you end up like a few miles away or on the other side of the map, and you want to quickly respawn your vehicle just like you normally can, you'll be able to apparently do so with this option. And another interesting thing is these special vehicles, unlike Pegasus vehicles, will be customizable to a certain extent, basic customization that you would get at Los Santos Customs, like paint jobs, performance mods like the brakes, engine, transmission, armor. Nothing too fancy, but that would be really cool that we'll be actually able to customize the Phantom Scoop, the Ruiner 2000, and the various other vehicles that I mentioned, if this all doesn't turn out to be BS. Apparently, there's also going to be like an insurance price tag with these rides, unlike Pegasus vehicles, where if you get your Ruiner 2000 destroyed, it's going to cost somebody around $3,000 for destroying your Ruiner 2000. That I kind of have issue with, especially if I'm the one that's chasing somebody down trying to kill them in my Ruiner 2000 or in my amphibious Technical, and they happen to get the drop on me and they take me out. Why should they be punished? I don't understand that. But anyways, another issue for another time. So this is very, very fascinating. And at first I was kind of like, no, I don't think this guy's legit. But all this information, everything he's provided so far, this seems like something that somebody couldn't simply just concoct or just come up off the top of their head. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't do it. I'm just saying that this seems very, very detailed to not be a Rockstar employee. Now, why is he doing this? Is he a disgruntled employee? Is he an employee that thinks he can get away with it? I mean, this is kind of an anonymous site. Or, and this is my wild, crazy theory, I think that if this is true, if this is someone that works at Rockstar, that this is something that they intentionally did. Like one of the one of the Hauser brothers was like, it would be a lot of fun if we just randomly went onto one of these stupid sites and we started posting information about the next update. Leaked info. Kind of like the Emperor in Star Wars. They find out about the second Death Star because the Emperor allowed them to find out about the second Death Star. In order to build up the hype. So, yeah, I could see the Hausers swiveling on their Emperor chairs like, oh, this leaking has happened by our design. Okay. So that's my crazy theory, because Rockstar has the means to find out who the fuck this is. And they would be in serious trouble, most likely, because I'm guessing that when you go to work for a company like Rockstar, it's like top secret shit. CIA shit, NSA shit. You got to sign like an NDA in order to work there. You don't tell people the stuff you're working on when it comes to their games or their DLCs or content until it officially comes out. So I don't know. It just seems a little interesting if, once again, this guy turns out to be legit. So let me know below in the comment section your thoughts regarding all this information. Do you believe it's true? Do you believe it's false? Do you think this guy just has a really good imagination and smoking some really good shit? That could very well be a possibility. But one reason why I believe this guy is real, I'm going to cite an example from early on in my channel. I launched back in 2014. And one of the early things I covered a few months later was the Independence Day update. Now, leading up to the Independence Day update, there was rumors and leaks about the content coming with Independence Day, which included the musket, the firework rocket launcher, and the monster truck. Now, at the time, those three seemed ridiculous. I mean, I think I threw a shit fit in a video about it. Like, no way, this is bullshit. It's a lie. There's no way Rockstar's going to add, a musket, a fucking firework rocket launcher, or the monster truck to Grand Theft Auto Online, and obviously I was wrong. So Rockstar is capable of anything. And all this stuff could turn out to be the real deal. And if it is, it makes me even more excited about the import-export update than I already was, because when it was announced a few days ago, I really felt like that this update was going to bring the Grand Theft Auto back into Grand Theft Auto Online. But I will say this at the very end. If it's true, this is perhaps going to be one of the most expensive updates to date. And before it's all over, I'm probably going to be broke. My bank account's going to go from millions of dollars that I've been saving up and getting some shark cards for to nothing in a matter of hours. But as a content creator that loves featuring the new vehicles and content for you guys, that's just a price I am willing to pay.